Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. DDK here. I know it's been a while since I've put anything out, and my apologies for that, but there's just, hasn't been a whole lot been going on in the old garage here lately. But I do have another bike on the lift today that we're going to start pulling apart. We're going to be doing the rolling throttle stage 2 kit on this particular bike. And I'll move the camera here in a minute and let you guys see the bike we'll be working on. It's a 2023 Road Glide ST. It's got the 117 Milwaukee 8 engine on it. You will know whose bike this is when I turn this camera around and let you see it. I'm glad that they entrust me to be able to do this work for them. We're going to be doing this stage 2 a little differently. But first of all, this video is not going to be on the stage 2. There are tons of videos out there that show you how to replace the cam on a Milwaukee 8 engine. But what I am going to be doing is we're going to be pulling the rocker off, the rocker box cover off, pull the rockers out, and we're going to pull the lower rocker box and swap it for color matched. So I'm making the video basically just about how to replace the lower rocker box on the M8 Harley Davidson engine. Like I said, it's not about replacing the cam. But I'll pause this camera and turn it around and let you take a look at whose bike we have on the lift today. There you go. We have the Iron Butterfly Road Glide ST in the garage. Already a beautiful bike, and we all know Miss Penny. She's friends with all of us, and she has done already a lot of work to this bike with the detailing. The exhaust has been changed out to a Sawiki speed exhaust, where she has a extreme ventilator air cleaner on there. But what we're going to be doing today, is, of course, tank's got to come off, and we're going to pull the rocker covers off, and we're going to get in here and pull that lower rocker box out and change it out to color matched. And that's what the video will actually be, will be how to get these off, how to pull your breather out, pull your rockers, your push rods, and then remove this lower rocker box and then reinstall. But now it's going to be a process. As I'm doing this, you're going to see that I'll have the exhaust pulled and I'll have this cam cover pulled at the same time I'm doing all this. But the video itself will be about that. So I'll pause this camera, throw this back up on the tripod, and then I'll start disassembling with getting this seat off, then the tank, and we have to start pulling that oil line off that goes across the top of the engine, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But let me pause this and I'll get right back. Okay, as you can see, I've removed that upper motor mount right there. I now have the oil coolant line pulled off, which is what went right across the top of the engine there. The clamp on that front hose is absolutely no fun at all. Now it's time to start pulling these rocker covers off. This is a 7/16. You have a couple of these bolts, especially back here on this back cylinder. that are really difficult to get to. But you can pick up this little adapter. And what that does is that's a 7/16 and a 9/16 on the outside. So you can slide that in like so. It's hard to do one-handed. There we go. And now you can get to that. You just put a 9/16 box in, or a ratcheting wrench right on top of that, and you can get those out. Now I picked this up. I forget what they call these. Rocker Buddy or something like, I can't remember. But I picked it up off a website. It's the stfumotorcycles.com. That's where I picked that up at. And there's probably other adapters out there similar to that will do the same job. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start pulling these rocker covers. Once again, not gonna video that. It's, you just get 10 bolts. Don't matter what order you take them off in. But I'll come back once I have the rocker covers pulled off and show you the next step. Okay, we got the rocker covers off now. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I need to pull this breather off. And then we'll start removing these rockers. Now this is a 12.5/16 to remove the rockers. And well, we gotta pull the breather out. So I'm going to turn this off, pull these two rockers and the breathers on each cylinder, and then I'll come back and we'll go over what you got to do to pull this lower rocker box off. Okay, I guess I did forget to mention that before you pull these rockers, you need to rotate the engine. When you get the front cylinder on top dead center, then the pressure's off of these two push rods, so you can start taking these off. But what you want to do is just loosen them up a little bit and just rotate back and forth. Even though you've got the front cylinder on the top dead center, you still want to go real slow back and forth each side until it eases up where there's no more pressure. And then once you pull the rockers, rotate the engine, get the back cylinder on top dead center, then you can do the same on the front. Now, I'm doing it the easy way because I'm replacing the cam. So all I'm doing is just lining up the timing dots and getting the cylinders on top dead center. Okay, I'm going to have to apologize. Camera shut down on me while I was taking off the lower rocker boxes of the old ones. But what you have 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this post in the center. That's all it takes. You just take those 5 bolts out, and the lower rocker box will pull right off. Now these are the new color match ones that we're putting on. I've already got them on, and all these are torqued. And, the torque setting for those lower rocker boxes are 90 to 120 inch-pounds. I set them all to 115 inch-pounds. All 5 of them, 115 inch-pounds. Now I'm not going to put the rockers back in yet because now I've got to dig into this cam chest. And once I get ready to put the rockers back on and then the upper rocker box covers, I'll turn the camera back on. But apologize for not paying attention to the camera when I was taking the other lower rocker boxes off. But like I said, just 5 bolts, 1 in each corner, 1 in the middle. Real easy, pops right off. Okay, I'm now back to a point where I'm going to be dropping these rockers back in. As you can see, I've already place the cam. Got the push rod covers in, the tubes in. I've already dropped the push rods back in. I've rotated the engine. Front cylinder's top dead center, so now I can put these rockers back in. Now I'm gonna drop a little oil. Oh, and I installed the breather, rocker breathers as well. Those also are 90 to 120 inch-pounds. Got one bolt right there. But when I put these rockers back in, I'll have to tighten them down. There's a torque sequence to do to them. But the first thing I'm going to do is just lay them in here and then just slowly tighten them down to get the pressure on the push rods, push the lifters down. I don't want to just force everything down and torque it. So I'm just going to snug everything up until they bottom out right here. And then I'll go through the torque sequence. But let me go ahead and get a rocker. Put it on here first, so I'll pause this camera for a second. Okay, you can see I've got these rocker arms sitting back in here. Of course, this is your exhaust and intake. And I'm just going to start snugging right now. They're just loose. Just finger tight. But you'll see how high that's setting. So I'm going to slowly bring these down until I bottom them out in this little seat. But I'm just going to do this a little bit at a time. And that's to get the pressure, or to put pressure down on the push rods down to the lifters. So like I said, I'm just going to just ever so slightly, and you can see me as I'm doing this, you'll see that push rod going down. And then I'm just going to wait for a few minutes, let it get some of the pressure off, and then I'll run it down a little bit more. And the torque sequence on those, it's a two-step torque. You're going to torque these down from about 5 to 7 foot-pounds, then back them off one turn, and then you're going to tighten them down to 23 to 27 foot-pounds is the final torque. But you got to do it in 2 steps, and that's for each side, all 4 rockers. But I'm just going to ease this down a little bit at a time. When I get the pressure off, I'll show you the torque sequence. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, you can see I've already got the rear cylinder. I've already got this cover back on, everything torqued down. And we'll move over here to the front one. And we'll start on it. We'll start out putting a new gasket on. Be sure you replace your gaskets. They're not that expensive. Now what I will do is I will get a screw started. Then I'll put one on the other side. And this is just to be sure that I got the gasket on straight. And you'll use some blue Loctite on all of your bolts. And I'll go ahead and put some Loctite on these. Put all these in the hole, and I'll pull these 2 back out and put some Loctite on those. And then I will torque all these down. There is a torque sequence. I will, at the end of this video, I'll put all of the torque specs and the which bolts how you'll tighten them up first. I think this one's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. Anyway, I'll put the torque spec at the end of the video, but I'll go ahead and just pause this again. I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me tighten these bolts down. So I'll come back when I'll show you that oil line. That'll be the next thing to get done, is put that oil line back on. The oil coolant line is now reinstalled. That's this line right here. It's a hard line. There's 2 of them. It goes from the front cylinder to the rear cylinder. As I stated earlier, that thing's a bear. I mean, it's just, well, getting to those 2 screws right there and up there. Very difficult to get to. But the top end is completely reassembled. Still got some things to do over on the other side that was part of the cam install. And then we'll be putting in the tuner. Have a special guest that's going to, I think, show up this evening to help with the rest of it. And as I said, and I also reinstalled the top motor mount and the stabilizer bar. And once again, I'll put all the torque specs and the torque sequence. I'll just, like I said, post pictures at the end of the video. So now I'm gonna wait on my special guest to arrive to help me finish up the rest of this bike so we can get it back to Penny.
Boo.
Hey.
Boo boo.
He lives.
How's it goes to Christmas past?
How's the diarrhea?
He never had diarrhea. That's Dallas. He's got diarrhea in the mouth.
Ready to put that exhaust back on?
I'm gonna get into this powder coat. They did a really good job because it looks more anodized than anything.
It looks good. Looks real good. And I mean, it looks really good. I think she'll be happy. Hey everybody. Just want to kind of apologize for the way this video was put together. I know it seems like a big jungled mess, but I was doing all that work while I was doing this stage 2. And sometimes I was forgetting to turn the camera off and on. And it may look like a jumbled up mess, but I think you'll get the gist of it. But what I am going to do real quick is I'm going to go back across the steps. And the first thing you're going to do, but obviously the first thing you'll do, let me turn this camera around. The first thing you're going to end up doing, of course, you're going to have to remove the tank console. If yours is so equipped, you have to remove the tank, which, you know, it's just 4 bolts, 2 up front, 2 in the back. There's your quick release. You will have to remove the horn. Your next step is going to be to remove that upper motor mount and this stabilizer bar. Then you will need to unplug your compression release, your knock sensors, the fuel injectors. Of course, you could, if I had this tank still off, you'd be able to see what I'm talking about, but you'll see all that. There's 6 things there that you have to unplug. Then you will remove that oil coolant line, which I can't state enough how difficult those 2 bolts right there are. Plus you have to pull this oil line off here, this oil line off here. Then you will start removing the upper rocker box cover. the rocker arms, the push rods, the rocker box breather, and then you go down in and change the lower rocker box. Now, you just reverse that same process to put everything back on. And once again, like I said, I will post all of the torque specs and sequence at the end of the video. So once again, sorry, but I think you'll get the gist of it. We'll see you.